Hi, this is Donnie Kerr with Centric Consulting. I was excited about to see the release of OpenAI's new Agents SDK. Especially wanted to show you how the orchestration feature works, where you can build more than one agent and then have another agent hand off to one agent or another. It's super easy. You can do this in less than 50 lines of code in this simple example I'm going to show you. So this is a Python app in VS Code using Flask to do the API, and you import the agents from OpenAI. You get the OpenAI key that you need to access the API. And then you simply create a weather agent in this example. And you give it a name and instructions on the agent, what its job is. In this case, it's a specialist agent getting the weather for a city. Simple. And this particular agent calls a function, get the weather. And that function is up here, and it just returns the weather. Then I have another agent that tells jokes. Since it's a joke agent, it's a specialist in telling clean jokes. You give it instructions. And then we have a triage agent. And this triage agent, its job is to determine which agent to use based on what the user's request is. And you have this handoff right here to handoffs where you say weather agent and joke agent. So it'll either hand off to a joke if they ask you to tell a joke, or if they ask for the weather, it'll hand off to the weather agent. And so it's a real simple example, and then I'll show you how that works in the browser here. So let me back up a second. This Docker file here enables me to deploy changes to the application out to an Azure container application. So this is the Azure container application. It's called OpenAI Agents, and it's connected to my GitHub Actions under this deployment tab. So any changes that get pushed to my GitHub will then deploy updates to the agent. And it's accessible via this URL. And so as you can see, I'm not something fancy. It's just going to say, if I come up here and change the prompt in the URL from what is the weather to tell me a joke, it responds with a joke. Why don't eggs tell jokes? Because they'd crack each other up. Now, if I want to go to, back to what's the weather like in Paris, it says the weather in Paris is currently sunny. So really simple. It's kind of like I just have a single route, and then I have a function called triage, and whenever the prompt comes in, it runs that triage agent, passes in the prompt. If there is no prompt, it will default to tell me a joke. So then it'll the triage agent then orchestrates which one of these two gets called. Really powerful. It's amazing how super simple they made this SDK. You don't have to do anything other than do these 5 or 6 lines of code to build an agent. Super nice. And I'll show you one other feature. If you go over here to, it has the orchestration has a traces feature. It tells you the triage agent was called, it responded in this much time, and it handed off to the weather agent. And then that weather agent called a function here. It's real nice to trace what's happening within the conversation flow. And so if I go back here, you see all the different times that this agent was called. Click on that. In this case, it's a weather handoff again. But if I go down to one that's the joke, the triage agent ran, it handed off to the joker, and the joker responded with the response. Very powerful feature, super exciting. Can't wait to build a real world application with it. I'm very impressed. Thank you.